Hi, it's Brian. Welcome to the Independent Cruiser, the channel for people who love to cruise, but maybe want to do your own thing in port. Today is all about Rome, but there's a catch. What cruise lines call Rome is really Civitavecchia, which is more than an hour away. So most cruisers think they need a guide or an excursion to make it work. But with this 5-hour plan, exploring Rome on your own is a breeze. So let me show you step by step how to turn this confusing cruise port into one of the best days ever. Now, why is it a 5-hour plan? When cruise ships put into Civitavecchia, they're normally there for 10 hours. But because of the distance, you need to allow yourself 2 hours to get into Rome and 3 hours to get back. Now, why the extra hour coming back? You don't want the ship to leave you. That is the biggest rule in exploring on your own. Don't miss the ship. To make this plan work, time management is really critical. And so I would advise taking the train from Civitavecchia into Roma Termini Station. That's going to put you right in the heart of Rome and where my plan begins. Now, there are several different ways to get from the pier to the train station. The train station is actually very close to the port. Now, I would get off the ship as soon as possible. And when you exit the terminal, there should be several different transportation options available to you. There should be a shuttle that runs directly from your pier to the train station for €7, or a taxi queue of local cabs that will take you for €20 for two people or €30 for four people. Now, that's a lot for what's really a 7-minute ride, but I think it's worth it just to get onto the train station. Depending on where your ship is, you could even walk it. And the train's nice because it runs every 30 minutes. There's always either a regional or a direct train. The travel times run from 47 minutes for a direct to an hour and 22 for a slower moving regional. But all of these trains will get you into that Roma Termini station. So for our example, let's assume you arrive at 8 a.m. Looking at the train schedule, there's an 8:42 a.m. train that I would shoot for. You're going to need about 30 or 40 minutes to get to the train station. You may not get the first shuttle bus, it may be further walk, whatever. So start getting an idea of which train you want to take. I would not buy tickets in advance in case you're late. The other thing I would do is download the Trenitalia app. It's a super useful app in Italy. Basically, you can just book your train tickets right on the app. So you see in this example, you pull up the app, you see that there is a train at 8:42 that gets in at 9:50 a.m., which would be perfect. Now, the first thing you're going to do in my plan is go see the Colosseum and the Roman Forum. Now, to see those on your own, you have to purchase tickets, and the tickets are for specific date and time. Now, you can arrive up to 15 minutes earlier than your start time, but if you're 15 minutes late, they can cancel your reservation, just depending on how crowded they are, because they are timed to manage the crowd. So, what I would do is in this scenario, I would go on, purchase my Coliseum tickets for 11. So you catch that 8:42 train, get in at 9:50, you either take a 10-minute taxi or a 20-minute walk to the Coliseum. You're there in plenty of time. You might be able to even get in early. But if you miss that 8:42 and you don't get in till like 10:20, 10:30, you're still in good shape. You can get in at 11 up to 11:15. So that's what I would recommend in this scenario. Now, you can do the Coliseum guided or unguided. We preferred the unguided version, and we use the Rick Steves audio tour. I talk about this in all of my videos. I'm a huge fan of Rick Steves and his audio guides to Europe that you can download right onto your phone. So what you can do is download his guide to the Colosseum. And with my family, we have iPhones. There's three of us. We just each take an earbud because you can pair two sets of earbuds to one phone. And we just followed the walking tour around the Colosseum. And it's great. You can go at your own pace. If you need to, go a little faster, you can. If you want to stop and check things out, you just pause the tour. It gives you so much flexibility when you're visiting the Colosseum. Now, as soon as the Colosseum's done, The Roman Forum is right there, and your Colosseum ticket includes admission to the Roman Forum. So, same thing. Go to the Roman Forum, put on the Rick Steves Roman Forum tour, and see that incredible sight. I mean, this is really the downtown of ancient Rome. It's really, really incredible. Now, I'm a history buff, so the Colosseum and the Roman Forum are really important to me, and I just loved them. But my whole family loved it, even the members that aren't history buffs. The Colosseum and the Roman Forum are going to take you about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now, we're keeping an eye on the clock because we're going to shoot for about a 3 p.m. train back, right? That's our 5 hours. Arrive at 9:50, leave around 3, make sure we have that 3-hour buffer to get back to the ship. When you're done with the Roman Forum, you're going to take about a 20-minute walk to a spot called Campo di Fiori and use Google Maps for this. Just for any foot navigation you need to do. Just put on Google Maps, put in your location. So wherever you're standing at the Roman Forum, when you exit, put in Campo di Fiori, follow those directions. It's about a 20-minute walk. And from Campo di Fiori, you're going to start the Rick Steves Heart of Rome tour. Now, this will take you about an hour and a half, but it's going to take you through the streets of Rome, past all of the iconic sites. You're going to see the Pantheon, you're going to see the Parliament, you're going to see Trevi Fountain, and you're going to end up at the Spanish Steps. Now, again, kind of managing your time, knowing you need to be back to the train station at about 3 p.m., you can judge your pace accordingly. The Rick Steves audio tour lasts 70 minutes. So an hour and a half is a good amount of time. Maybe you're going to want to stop and grab a bite to eat at some point along this time because it's going to be lunchtime. And then you're going to end up at the Spanish Steps. Take your pictures at the Spanish Steps, and then it's either a 15-minute cab ride or a 30-minute walk back to Roma Termini Station, where you're going to catch your train back to Civitavecchia. If my ship is leaving at 6, I'm aiming for this 3:12 p.m. train that puts me back into Civitavecchia at 4:22 p.m. Now, if I miss that train, there is a 3:42 p.m. train that puts me in at 5:08, still gives me 50 minutes to make it back to my ship. But that's why I like having that buffer in there. Maybe the 3:12 train is canceled. Maybe it's full. Maybe there's some kind of delay. But on the way back to the ship, give yourself that extra hour of buffer. It's just going to save you stress in the long run. And it's not worth trying to squeeze in another extra little thing to experience the stress of missing your ship. If you've done Rome from Civitavecchia on your own and you have a different itinerary or a different way of getting in or out, I would love to hear about that in the comments. This 5 hours getting to see the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, Trevi Fountain, the Pantheon, and the Spanish Steps is just a great way to experience the city on your own. The best part of this plan is it can all be done for less than $50 per person. Your train fare is about $12 round trip if you're doing the regional. If you're doing the direct, it's about $32. Your ticket to the Colosseum and the Roman Forum is $18. And then other than that, it's just any taxis you might take. So it's a really inexpensive way to see Rome on your own very efficiently and very effectively for a one-day cruise stop in Civitavecchia. Now, I'll add this little bit. If at all possible, if you can do Rome at the beginning or end of your cruise, take 2 or 3 days on either end. I would highly recommend that. That way you get to see it all. You get to do the Vatican, you get to do the Colosseum, you get to do the Heart of Rome walk, you get to do everything. You don't have to make those choices that you do if you're just in there for a one-day port visit. But this is my 5-hour bite-sized piece of Rome. I think it's a great plan. Please drop in the comments if you've done something similar, or if you have any questions. I respond to everything. And if you're finding value in these videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. Thanks so much.